once you have all these requirements, how do you identify a minimum viable product or MVP? And how do you test the prototype? Keep it low fidelity. Why? It's cheaper, faster. Number one, cheaper, faster. Number two, the customer also knows that you did not put a lot of, you did not put a lot of effort into it. So they are more likely to give you very honest opinion, because if they feel like you spent a lot of time building it, some of them may be guarded and say, yeah, it's kind of nice, right? So keep it low fidelity. It will be cheaper, faster, and you will get a lot more honest feedback. Okay, so let's look at the best practices, of identifying the MVP. Keep it low fidelity. You can draw on paper. You can draw sketches. Your goal is not to sell. Your goal is to get input, right? Your goal is to get input. What matters here is the speed of testing and speed of feedback, right? How quickly you can do it. And how much testing is enough? How do we know when to stop, right? The point when you are not getting any newer insight, when you talk to a newer set of customers and show them, that's when you know that you actually got most of the feedback that you need to get, right? And once you are at that point, go to higher fidelity, right? From paper sketch, go to wireframes if it is a software product, right? Test again, until there are no surprises, and then build the MVP. Build the MVP and continue to validate with the market. Introduce to few strategic customers, and then continue to validate, right? So these are the best practices for really identifying the MVP. Now, if you try to build every requirement that you get from all those three funnels that I talked about, then what will happen is you will end up with scope creep and complexity, and nobody likes that. Nobody likes that. That product is never going to be successful, right? So again, this is where you really have to make trade-offs and choices. Strategy equal to trade-off. Keep that in mind. Strategy is equal to trade-offs. You have to make trade-offs, and those are tough choices, right? Those are tough choices. So let me summarize, the high-level framework before giving it to Ganesh, who will actually take it to a much deeper level, right? Much deeper level. For making the trade-off, when you have all these requirements and you need to carve out now what is going to go into your MVP or your product release, these are 5 key elements you're going to think through. One is customer impact, right? What happens? Is the customer, not able to complete the workflow? Is it affecting their revenue, or their user base, right? Or is it nice to have? Or is there a workaround? All these things will give a different ranking for customer impact. Market evidence, how many customers or what percentage of your customers actually need it? Why this is important? You're not building a product for a single customer. You're building the product for a market. Keep that in mind. You're building the product for the market. And that's why market evidence is critical. If one customer, no matter how big, is asking for something unique and it takes you forever to build and the rest of the market does not, it's a very bad strategy to go and build that, right? Next one is release theme, right? And Ganesh will cover a lot more in depth. But what is your theme? Is your theme focused on the end user persona and make that persona happy, or user experience, or is it focused on some architectural improvement in the product, whatever that theme may be? And you will get more examples from Ganesh. The next thing is revenue impact. I mean, once you know the customer impact and market evidence, you also need to ask that hard question: which one of these features will actually help me win more deals, right? Because there are a lot of features which are nice, but they will not necessarily sway the customer to actually be ready to sell. And last but not the least is, what is the cost? And cost is not just the pure dollars. Cost also is, how much effort it takes, and how much time it takes to actually take it to the market. So once you take these 5 elements, you will be able to carve out a product release plan and MVP. But now Ganesh will take it to even a more deeper level to show you step by step how that can be done. Pause here and see if there are any questions. And guys, don't be shy. Type your questions in the question box so that we can answer it. In the meantime, I'm gonna make Ganesh a presenter, and he will take over from here. So Ganesh, the floor is yours, and you may want to hit the show button.